Good morning. I'm working on this lawn, second cut, trying to make some improvements. I want to harvest all the water that's going to be coming off this street when it rains. So I'm cutting in an edge so I can get under the sod instead of washing across and washing away the nutrients. So I hard edge with the blade, and then I'm sidelining it with the string because it was growing real healthy into the asphalt. But and it won't look perfect, but the next time I come, all of this that's outside of my cut edge will be dead because I've sidelined it, and it's going to sit there and bake in the heat. So anyway, somebody asked me why I edge after I mow instead of beforehand. Well, most of Florida is sugar sand. See over here? There's no soil to it. So if I edged first, any traffic, foot traffic or mower traffic would collapse that edge and it would have no benefit. Now there is some circumstances where it isn't shifty like that, and that's like here where this concrete hasn't been edged for a long time and the grass or weeds actually are root bound against that concrete. So the first few times you edge that's going to be hard as a rock, and that's I have to go forward and backwards. But after the moisture gets in there, the roots are loosened up, that edge will start becoming more viable for growth. But also the reason I don't edge first is like when you color with coloring crayons, you draw the outline, then you fill in the middle. In a three-dimensional plane, I'm drawing the lines when I mow because that gives me my crop top height. So that's one line of reference that I use when I go to string trim. And then when I edge, it gives me the other line. So now my string trimming is just a marrying the two of those in a nice, crisp, crew cut manner. So basically, you're filling in the horizontal, or you're drawing your horizontal outline when you mow. You're setting your height. Then you're drawing your vertical outline when you edge, and then you're taking care of that outline. You're filling in the outline when you string trim. So that's why I do it in order I do it. For different areas, it can be entirely different because they may not have a problem with the soil collapsing with traffic. So, all right, I got to finish this one up. I'm on only my second one. I had to go do tires on the white truck this morning and it took forever. All right, I'll catch you later. So finished that one up. That's what I call progressive edging. I only do it on the budget. Sorry, but I didn't show it. I only do it on budget cuts. If it were like a full funded cut, it would be like I would edge it out in one shot. But since it's not really accounted for, it's just like I'll do that hard edge. Well, actually, you see, this is the second cut. So to be honest, here's how I usually work it. I'll edge out their hardscapes, their driveway, and any other parts the first time, and then you don't know if they're going to follow through and therefore be a profitable account. And the second time, which was today, then I might do a little bit more, but all of it is more than what the guy before was doing, and also, as you can see, it was more than what their neighbors are doing. But my main issue on why I'm doing that is because I want that moisture that runs off of that whole side of that street is crowned to run off to that lawn. I want it to not wash away the nutrients on top of the lawn, and I do want it to percolate into the lawn. I also want that channel there as a place where excess moisture can stay to digest any lawn debris and clippings. So those channels and those grooves from hard edging become basically mini compost areas. So then the next time when you edge, any leaves or anything that got into that channel with that shade and excess moisture are rotted down, and when you edge, you throw that back on top of the soil. So it's like top dressing your lawn. So those are the reasons I like to hard edge and instead of string edging, to get a good channel. Now, where it won't edge is if it's over edged, where it's gotten so wide that basically it's just another plane, a terrace effect, you know, terracing, where you got the plane of the lawn and then you got another plane down below, and you know, that's over edged in my opinion. Or if it's got, you know, so I let that grow back in a few times and then I'll start edging again, so that I get back that nice narrow deep channel where if they want to sweep between service occurrences, they got a place for debris to fall and moisture can perk in under the soil instead of washing away across the top when it rains. And then it's also an isolation gap, so that the concrete after the rain, the concrete's going to dry out real quick and then it's going to, wick away moisture out of the lawn, unless there's that isolation gap cut. And then also in the midst of the summer, that concrete gets really hot, so then that cut also provides an isolation gap for thermal conduction, so that it doesn't kill out the lawn from the outside edges in. So there's like, what, I don't know, 6 different reasons why I hard edge. All right, I'm getting on to the next lawn. I'll catch you later. Look at this beauty. What a mess. They think I'm gonna pull them weeds. I'm gonna burn them down with the weed eater, and then I'm gonna spray that bed. I'm not going to. See, that's bahia that's growing into that. When you go to pull that bahia, it pulls up all your weed mat and the whole works. So if they don't like it, then they're going to find somebody else, because I did try to do that for them before, but I know from experience doing that that's not going to work. It's not worth my time. So I'm going to burn down the weeds. I'm going to mow all the other and then spray it out, and that's just the way it's going to have to be. All right, I'm going to get this done. I can't get video because I'm on the iPhone for videography here in its full sun, and from experience I know that does just heat up and shut down before I get even started. So catch you later. Okay, so that one's done. They wanted everything. Oh, I gotta spray them weeds still in the beds, but they wanted their turd garden string trim too, which was they called it a garden, but the only thing that's ever been in there is their dog poop. So I call it turd garden. And then I got done, and then the check was $20 light from what we agreed upon. So that I gotta straighten that out. Of course, it's more work on my end that I don't have time for. I almost couldn't find a tape measure because I looked over here at this yard. I bought about 6 tape measures, for, 5 or 6 for each truck. But now there's only barely 1 in there, and had to sort through and search forever. But you see, somebody's put in the fence here. That grass is nearly as tall as the 4-foot front fence because nobody can get in to mow it. So since I did find a tape measure, thank goodness, I'm going to measure the gate, and then if I can get my mower in there, I'll put in a bid on that. So, and it won't be cheap. But that's I don't understand why these fence companies are putting in these small gates. All right, let me get off here. I don't know whose property this is. Okay, so that's only a 4-foot gate, but who knows? They maybe wouldn't have paid a cleanup price anyway. And as regular customers, it's questionable if that would be a good account, obviously. But it's not the yard for me either way because that gate's too narrow. All right, I'm on to the next one. All right, here I am at this one. I might get some video, but not a whole lot. Maybe not. This is a street. It's not a long street, so it had to be somewhere as close to here. The lady who was delivering pizzas got mowed down and left dead on the road. To think of it, you got to think about how she must have felt in that moment. I don't know whether she died instantly or what, but at some point there was had to be the cognitive recognition that her life was either going to be drastically changed in that second or ended. And it's a horrible experience, I'm sure, because it's unplanned. It's just a in the moment freak accident. But they still haven't caught the guy that did it. It was, or girl, I don't know. It was a hit and run. They just left her there on a road. So it's something to think about as you're out mowing. Obviously, it could happen to anybody. So, and you know how often you're running a blower or something, you got your earplugs in. When you had looked, there was nobody, but then somehow they've gotten within range and you take a step backwards and nearly get hit. So, all right, I'm going to get this one started and we'll see if I can get some footage. Got a cable line coming up out of the ground here. So thin they're buried. So I gotta watch that. Just finishing up this lawn. And the edging we were talking about, you're not gonna get that nice deep edge on the road surface that gives you the composting effect. But you can get enough edge that it stops that moisture from just blowing across the top and when it rains, and you can get it to maybe get down in the soil. My lines are pretty good. I was doing back passes and moving all the extra leaves that were up in that side down towards where the septic is to combine them with the more moisture, the organics from the septic tank. That way it all rots in, But it's a trick trying to take a fat slice on your backstroke and come out without a split, and without missing. And I do pretty good at it. One thing that helps me is the double deck lifts, because when you're turned around backwards, that pulls one of your legs off of the lifts. So no matter which direction I'm turning my head to sight my line on a backstroke, I have a lever that's within easy reach. And where that makes a difference is, you see, when you come up against one of these trees where it's got a swell, where you know there's a dip, then you can just go straight. You don't have to mix up your line, because once you start wagging that front on a backstroke, then you got a mess. It's hard. Then you get all confused and dizzy. When it happens to me in the Bobcat, I just have to stop, because in a Bobcat you're looking up, down, all around. It's more than 3D, and if you ever get to feeling dizzy, like there's too many dimensions on the visual input, you just gotta stop for a second. And the same thing kind of happens on the mower, but being able to control my up and down and my direction, it's easier than if my tires can brush the tree, and I'll just barely come around it, barely change my line on a backstroke. And the only reason you do that is to move material. You want to move material away from areas where it can lay up and inhibit percolation of moisture, and where it's going to be too dense for a long growth. And as each pass, as you move it, so you're going forward and blowing to the right, and then you reverse and you're blowing to the right. So as you move it down, it's getting chipped finer and finer, and then finally you get it to an area where you got the taller grass with more moisture, and it's chipped up enough that when it combines with the grass clippings, now you got something that'll rot in, and it makes the lawn more healthy. And well, right now we're mowing a lot of leaves, a lot of pollen, so it's as much about moving material around as it is getting a cut on it. So all right, I'm on to the next lawn. I know that's a little bit in the weeds as far as my thinking on it, but that's how I do it, and it seems to work for me. All right, I'll catch you later.